Okay. We're gonna do a quick little newbie guide, whatever you want to call it. We have a lot of new people starting Darkfall. I myself am super rusty, so this is going to be a rusty vet POV. I'm probably going to stumble on my words. I'm probably going to mess some things up, but that's fine. We'll learn together. So you're in Darkfall. You have some transfers on a bar, a mana missile. You have no idea what's going on. I get it. It's confusing. They're going to drop you into Sanguine. Okay. Sanguine is here. I'll clean the map up for you guys. And by the way, you can always just go on the map and check all this stuff and figure out where things are. But so Sanguine's over here. This is where you started, right? I'll put on the tile rating so you can understand that. You are in a blue zone. Okay? You are in a blue zone. This is the safest zone in the current version of Darkfall. All the capitals have smaller blue zones. The human blue zone is the biggest. All right. You have two options. You can either stay in Sanguine because it has the most blue zone and try to grind out against a bunch of people. I don't recommend that. I think you should leave Sanguine and go somewhere else. If you go in the back of Sanguine, you can see there's portals right here. See all these portals? These will take you to the other racial capitals. Eventually, the factions, there'll be faction wars with race alliances. Don't worry about that right now. On the 32-bit, that's not really a thing. But we went up to the orc area and we farmed around the orc area. And you have all the same types of mobs over here. And there's no real reason to be over here competing with everyone. Now, you may ask, well, there's not as much blue zone over there. What's the problem with that? Let me explain the alignment, karma, whatever zone system. So it's kind of like Albion. If you die in the blue zone, you only lose the gold on you. If you die in the yellow zone, you lose your inventory and everything that isn't your active weapon. So if I have my staff out, I would drop my axe, my shield, my bow, my dagger, and all my stuff in my inventory. But I would keep everything equipped as well as my weapon. So you lose a little bit less in the yellow zone. And then in the red zone, which is everywhere in the ocean, the 4 continents, in the middle of the map where all the best stuff is, that's full loot. You drop everything. You don't keep anything unless it's like a noobified blessed item. Okay. Now, beyond the zones, it gets a little bit more confusing. We're currently at Andruk, which is up here. This is our city that we took. If you hover over it, it says PvP is on. This is because if you click this thing, Aaron, let me move my cat real quick. If you click this shield underneath your mini map, you'll see hostile, neutral, peaceful. As a new player, I never want you to toggle hostile. Basically, once you toggle hostile, I think you can't use the starter cities, so you can't use the fast travel there. You can only untoggle hostile in a chaos city called Espenhall at the middle of the map, and you're going to get killed there, and it's going to be a pain in the ass, so I don't want you to have to do that. And so your options are going to be, at least when you start, remaining peaceful or going neutral. If you're peaceful, the only people who can attack you are those who are flagged hostile. All right? If neutrals are trying to attack you and you're peaceful, they can't hit you. You can't hit them. That's how it's supposed to work. Once you get your feet wet in the game and you understand it a bit more, I would recommend going neutral. Especially if you're in the yellow zone, I think you should go neutral, right? So you start getting used to PvP, getting adjusted with it. But while you just start, stay peaceful, kind of grind goblins, mobs around whatever city you're at. If you want to look to see mobs, you got to take the slider right here and max it, and then do very easy, right? This is where we started, Flaming Skull. There's a bunch of orcs, trolls, goblins. In the city, there's a sewer that has a bunch of mobs in it with some quests and achievements, right? And wherever you load into, there will be an NPC that has some quests. A lot of the other NPCs will have quests, kill quests. You can focus on those. The other thing you want to look at as a sense of completion or something you can do to help yourself out is go up here. You're going to hit escape. You're going to go to the top. You're going to go to tasks. This part is a little dumb. It's like 30 pages and you don't care about most of it. But what we do care about are dailies. Okay. So if you search daily, these are daily repeatable missions you can do right? These are repeatable daily missions you can do that give you a chance at loot, money, resources, all that types of stuff. And some of them are very easy, right? So as you can see, I have these tracked. So if I click this one and I track it, boom, it pops up over here, and you can move this, whatever you want, right? The whole UI is movable. And then so you can see I did some gathering. So if I gather a little bit more, I'll finish my daily. And then as well as the daily, there are weeklies. So if you search weekly, you see there's like similar ones of the dailies, but weeklies, these give you a bunch of gold, meditation points, which are going to allow you to do offline skilling, and a bunch of other things. So if you don't have any direction right now, you don't know what to do, just go in your little task thing, type daily and type weekly, and ping and just track some things that you want to just chip away at, right? These will give you a bunch of money. This will give you money for regs, so you can start leveling up your spells a little bit easier if you're struggling to get money going. So look at the tasks. There's quests at the starter NPCs. Like I said, they have some good things you can do. Don't overly focus on the quests. Not a huge deal. I would say the daily tasks are more important. And then, okay, so you have some tasks you do. You have some quests you can do. Beyond that, you're still a little confused. You just have lesser magic and a sword. You're going to notice that when you start, you have a newbie staff, a newbie sword, and a newbie one-hander, which is whatever, it's bound to me right now, right here. These are good at the beginning, but you need to get away from these as soon as possible, because you can't get skill gains beyond lesser magic and beyond some melee skills initially. I don't even think you can get any melee skills. And you need to get mob dropped or crafted, or you can buy some from an NPC. Like if I wanted a staff, right? Every town has these NPCs. And you would just go boom to the staff, and I could just buy a couple different staffs here. They have different ranks, they cost different amounts of money, or you can find a crafter. You can also go to the auction house. Our city has an auction house, but all the NPC cities have a global auction house as well. Don't know why that did that, but that's okay. And so if you go to the auction house, there'll be a bunch of, craftables that people made. Let me do that again. So we could go over here on the auction house. We could staff. They'd be like, yeah, I want a Cobra staff. Oh my God, someone's actually selling one for 65,000. Get out of here, you rodent fuck. Okay, hay staffs are good. That's not a bad price. Some of these are decent. And so, yeah, you could buy this, and then I think it would cost a little bit more to ship it to you, right? But yeah, so you can use the auction house, NPCs, friends to craft it yourself, or mob drop. And that's the stuff you're going to do to level up your skills. So when you start off, like I said, you're going to have mana missile, right? So you're going to have a regular staff equipped. You're going to use mana missile, and you're just going to hit mobs. Whatever mobs you're farming, you're just going to hit mobs, and you're going to do your transfers. Your mana to stamina, your stamina to health, and then your health to mana. And you don't have Witch's Brew yet, but heal self, right? This one. That's how you get stats. And when your heal self is on cooldown and you've done a bunch of transferring, sometimes it's good to just sit. Sometimes it's good to just sit to get your stats up if mobs aren't on you, okay? That's totally okay. Eventually, you're going to have a bunch of food on you. Food helps with regen. Always make sure you have food when you're farming a lot. People who get their cooking skill up get better food. Better food lasts longer, gives you better buffs, blah, blah, blah. That's a whole thing we're not going to get into. So what you're going to do is you're just going to mana missile mobs, right? And not whiff, because every time you whiff, you waste it. But when you hit, right, you get skill gains and lesser magic. And that's pretty much how the game works. Equip weapon, hit mob for skill gain, skill go up, dopamine receptor happy, continue making skill go up. So when you start, you're going to have lesser magic, right? You're going to mana missile goblins or trolls or whatever's around you to level it up. Once your lesser magic gets to 50, it'll unlock greater magic. And then greater magic has different spells in it, right? So we'll go over here. I'll pull up the spells. Greater magic, when you first start, you won't have all these abilities, but you'll have Rend. If you hover over rend, you can see that rend costs 1 bone, right? So you'll go to the regent vendor, you'll use whatever money you have, you'll buy bone, you'll get a stack of bone, and what I recommend is if you press I, it'll open up this item bar right here, and you can drag your regents onto this bar so you can keep track of how many you have. When you're out farming in the game, you don't want to run out of regs and get jumped. So you always want to be mindful of your regent costs, where you're at with your regs, when you need to go back to town, all that jazz. If you're out far away from town and you want to get back to town, you can click under the minimap and do a bindstone recall. If you want to redo your recall somewhere, you go to a bindstone and you hold down F and it'll circle and blah, blah, blah. You get a capital recall. I think this is just stuck to sanguine. I don't know how we rebind this. Someone in the comments can maybe say, but you get a capital recall that you can use on a long cooldown, goddammit. And then you get a bindstone recall that you can bind anywhere that you find a bindstone that you can bind to. And then if you get lucky enough to get a house and you put that down in a village, then you get a 3rd house recall bind, right? And there's a bunch of other ways to fast travel. Again, this is not a deep dive on the game. I'm just getting you guys started. So you're going to run around. You're going to transfer to get your stats up. You're going to always be mindful of your stats. You're going to be shucking and jiving. You're going to be mana missiling these mobs, these cats, these zany cats in our city, right? You're going to level up your lesser magic. You're going to unlock to greater magic. You're going to rend mobs with greater magic. And then once you get greater magic to 50, then that is going to unlock all of your other skills, right? So you're going to unlock at that point all of your other elemental magic. So your air, your earth, your fire, your water, blah, blah, blah. And the process for leveling these is the exact same as what I just showed you. It's no different. I want to level my fire magic. What do I have available? I have Firebolt available. What does that cost? 2 sulfur. I go to the NPC, I buy a boatload of sulfur, and I go out and I machine gun mobs down with Firebolt, and then I raise my fire magic. I unlock more spells from fire magic, and this is how you progress and unlock all the magic schools in the game. So this is the first route I suggest everyone goes with their character progression in the game. Just focus on leveling up all the magic, unlocking the magic. Once you have the magic unlocked, we can talk about all the mandatory spells and all that, right? Once you get everything unlocked, let's say you have all your magic unlocked. Like I just need to get spell chanting up and arcane a little bit more, and then I'm good, right? And so once you have all this stuff unlocked, you're going to have buffs you want to put on a bar, right? You're going to have buff others you want to put on a bar. This is too many. I don't think you need all these buff others. You're going to stack all your different disabling blows on one button from all your different weapons. You're going to do the same for knockbacks. You're going to do the same for power attacks, right? So once you unlock all these weapon skills and these magic skills, then it's about, for you personally, figuring out how to make this feel good while you play, right? Every magic school has rays in it, which are hit scan abilities, right? That I'm gonna whiff because this cat's hitbox sucks, but they're really tight hit scan abilities. And so every magic school for the most part has one. We have Impale, which is in the Earth school. We have Dragon Breath, which is in Fire. We have Unholy Caress, which is in Necro. We have Lightning Bolt, which goes through walls. So remember that. You might want to bind it to a separate key. That's in Air. We have Insect Swarm, which is from Witchcraft. And then we have Frostbite, which again goes through walls. Again, this goes through walls. So you might want that on a separate bind.
Holy smoke, Darkfall D.
And that's from Water. Coffee, thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man. So these are your rays.
954 Delta. I repeat, not a drill. We have gift subs incoming.
I have 6 rays on my bar. And then I also have my whirlwind for my greatsword. I'll eventually have all my whirlwinds here. And so what that means is if my staff is out and I press E, it's going to do a ray. If I keep pressing E, it's going to cycle through my ray script, basically. And then if I hit Q and I pull out my sword and I press E, I have an axe right now, so it won't work. But if I had a sword, I would press E and then it would do my sword whirlwind, okay? So that's kind of the thought process behind these binds, right? And then if you go here, you'll hit the gear, you right click on the button, and then this is a buff cycle. So we have hasten spells, stone skin, arrow shield, all these are like elemental buffs. So all you do is every time I press shift 1, it's just gonna, you know what I mean? Just going to cycle through these, right? So that's how you do a cycle script if you want to do that. And then beyond that, it's just binding things that feel good to you. My heal others are on Shift C. Right, so I do Shift C and it cycles through them. I probably shouldn't have lay on hands on there, actually. That should be on a different one. Actually, no, lay on hands is fine on first available. What am I doing? That's fine. I just need to not cast it. And I don't think that one... Do not want that on auto cast. Anyway. First available is going to use whichever cooldown in this order, right, pops up first. So heal other. If I keep pressing it, it stays on heal other because that's the order. And then once I do heal other, I press it, it goes to sacrifice. I can keep pressing it and it won't go to anything else. As soon as heal other is back off cooldown, it will select heal other, right? And then if all two are on cooldown, it will go to lay on hands, which is a close range heal. So that's kind of the thought process behind like how we do binds, how you try to stack a bunch of things on one key, and how you try to make it feel good. My best suggestion is WASD. Don't go more than 2 keys away from WASD and work on adding Alt and Controller and Shift modifiers around WASD. Try to keep as much as you can off your mouse. I think that's my best advice. But yeah, so level up all your abilities, then work on your bindings. Then once you have your bindings in, then you need to go out and get reps in. You're either going to do that by dueling people a lot or farming and getting jumped in trial by fire, whatever the case may be. That is the best order, I think, in which to learn Darkfall. Number 1, do tasks and quests, level up your skills, get all your things unlocked. Once everything's unlocked, figure out your bindings, get your bindings sorted. And then 3, get your reps in and practice and practice and practice. Right? That is the best advice I can give anyone in this game if they want to get comfortable with it in the best order possible. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below.